here, from Westfield, Massachusetts, is Joe the Biker.
Joe the Biker. I'm here today to talk about bullying. I got something to say. You gotta stand up. Say no to fear, because you have the power to make it disappear. I think it's very important that when you see people that look different, that you try to accept them, realizing that you should listen to what they have to say and watch the way they act, because that will truly tell you who they are. I've written a couple of books, and my first book is called Yubbie, The Fall and Rise of an Everyday Joe. And you might say, what the heck is a yubbie? I looked like that up to about 8th grade in grammar school. And it was around 4th grade when they started calling me Yubbie. It was kids just picking on me at school. But it wasn't just the name calling. It was the mean things they did to me. The practical jokes. All those things had an impact on me from the 4th to the 8th grade. And it led me down a certain path in life. And that's why I'm here today, to share you a little bit of my story, so you can see the path that life can take sometimes, and you don't even realize why you do things. A lot of the kids, when they used to tease me and call me names, had a laugh. What they didn't realize is that when I went home at night, I'd sit on my bed and cry. I've cried many a nights as a young man, trying to understand what was so different about me, what was so wrong about me, that kids had to do this to me every single day of my life. So in time, I started really to feel bad about myself. I've actually stood on the floodgates of the Housatonic River in Adams, Massachusetts, and thought of jumping off that floodgate 3 times in my life. As I stood there trying to say, the easiest solution is just to end it all. I cannot take this pain any longer. I can't take this torture. And it's funny because, again, the kids at school are just having a laugh at school. They don't realize that I'm up on those floodgates thinking about taking my life. Because it led me down a path. I really felt bad about myself. I had low self-esteem. I weighed 280 pounds by the time I was an 8th grader. And I went on into high school, and I started doing alcohol, and I started doing drugs. And one day, I was in an automobile accident. And that changed my life forever. It took me 17 years to come back to health. I lost the use of my left arm for 5 years, and so I was desperate. I was so desperate to heal because I couldn't live that way. I started to read, discovered meditation. And the reason I share this is because it was the meditation over years that disclosed something very important to me. That the reason I was such an angry, bitter guy for all those years, now I'm 30 years old, was because of what happened to me when I was this big. Everything that has ever happened to you from the day you were born is recorded back here. And bad experiences that you have when you're young stay with you and define you. And in those meditations, I learned one most important lesson, that I was really Yubbie. I was that guy, him, inside. I was a warm, sensitive, loving individual. I learned how to love myself. I learned how to respect myself. I learned how to put value on myself. And because I learned how to forgive myself, I learned how to forgive other people for what they did. I learned that I can no longer judge people, because everybody in this room, you're no more than like me, just another human being with an accumulation of life experiences that got you where you are today. And that's what defines you. I had a happy ending. My happy ending is that at one point in my life, I learned that I had a purpose here on this planet. And my purpose was to serve people. Little thing inside called Yubbie. I'm not embarrassed about it, and I love them very much. And I hope that each and every one of you can find that very, very beautiful part inside you that defines, really, really defines you. Today I use Yubbie as an acronym, and we're going to talk about a few of these things today. With the Y, to stand up and be able to tell an adult. You have to unite as a community and create a community where everybody's respected and protected. You have to be understanding that it's really not you who has the problem, it's the bully who has the problem. You also have to be aware there's consequences. We're going to talk about the next letter, I, intervening. And finally, as I mentioned before, each and every one of you were given a gift. A very special gift when you were born. The hardest part is to have the courage to stand up and say, listen, this is happening. I want it to stop. You have a right to be here. You have a right to look the way you look. You have the right to think the way you think. You have the right to be here. Love yourself. Stand up for yourself. You can't have self-respect. It don't work that way. When you have self-respect, you're empathetic. You feel sensitive to how other people feel. And it's better to be outside of a group and have respect for yourself than be inside of the in-group and hurt other people. Because you're just as bad as the bully, but it takes guts. It takes a power of one. Something you see in yourself that gives you the courage to stand up and say, no, I don't want to be part of this group. I don't accept what they're doing. I'm going my own way. That takes guts. What makes somebody tough is to be able to stand up for what is right. What tough is to be able to walk away from a group that is doing mean things and say, I don't get into it, man. I don't have time for it. See ya. Everybody in this room today is a role model. And you're a role model to other students in your classroom. How do you stop bullying? Anybody got an opinion about how you stop bullying? There isn't a teacher, there's not a principal, there's not an adult in this school right now that can stop bullying. None of them can stop it. The only people that can stop bullying in your school are you and you. Like I say in my rap song, you are the ones that make it disappear. So if you don't know how to stop it, man, then it ain't gonna disappear. Amen to that, huh?
For details to get an empowering performance by Joe the Biker, please contact us at our site, www.joethebiker.com.